freaking weather we've got. Yeah, go figure. The storm is still not here yet. It's Wednesday, and it still hasn't hit. I don't know. I guess all the local meteorologists are kind of scratching their head going like, what the fuck is this thing doing? Like, they don't even know what's going on. It's probably the most Lindsay Lohan complicated storm ever, because it literally just can't figure out what it wants to do with itself. And they still don't know if, like, we're going to get rain or if we're going to get snow. We know it's going to be here. We just don't know what it's going to be. And it looks more and more likely that the foothills and the mountains are actually going to get the most of it, and maybe even like the southwest mountain areas, which those areas definitely need the moisture. They've needed like a major rainstorm for years now. So anything that they can get is a huge plus. But regardless, it still isn't here. You know, the screwed up part of all of this is it literally feels like I'm in an episode of South Park. You know that one with George R.R. Martin, and he's like, well, the pizzas will be here. They're coming. And they just never get there, like hours and hours later. So I took the day yesterday to do the rotors, pads, brake fluid, and sensor replacement of the wife's GLC 63 AMG. It's a 2019. This is the first time I've ever done a brake replacement, or, you know, not upgrade, but like a full system refresh on the brakes with a car that has an electronic parking brake. At least one that's as complicated as it was on this thing. The front calipers, as far as I can tell, are 6-pots. They're big 6-pots, beefy ones. The rears are like 2-piston, I think. I don't know, it's hard to tell because like the whole setup of the brakes on that thing is just really weird to me. But the rears, because they have electronic parking brake and they actuate both rear calipers electronically. When I started on the passenger side rear, it was a little frustrating because like you got to go into this menu to tell the car that you're going to do a pad replacement, and then what it does is if you meet the parameters, then it'll open up the calipers like all the way, so that way you can actually replace the pads, you know, and you're not like sitting there fighting these electronic actuators that are holding the pistons closed. I struggled for probably like an hour and a half because I figured out how to get into the system that actually does all that relatively quickly. It only took me like, I don't know, 5-10 minutes. What's up, guys? It wasn't difficult. The problem is that I tried to do all this, and I don't know what the hell happened, but every single time I tried to activate that stupid brake replacement feature, it just absolutely refused to do it. It said parameters not met. And I followed the guides that said like, well, you got to be in this mode, and you got to have like this level of electronics engaged, and you got to have it in accessory mode, and like all these stupid little things that you had to do. And I'm just like tearing my hair out trying to get it to do its thing. And when I finally did get it to do its thing and actually actuate properly, the stupid rear piston flew out of the caliper. I'm not even kidding you. Like, it straight up fell out. And I'm like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. Because the seal is press fit from the factory in there, and it's just like pouring brake fluid everywhere. And I'm like, okay, well, I mean, I had to replace it anyway, so whatever, big deal. But I literally struggled with this thing for, I don't even know, like 5 or 6 hours to do these stupid brakes that shouldn't have taken me that long. All because of the electronic parking brakes. Like, it was the dumbest thing ever. I literally disassembled that entire caliper and completely rebuilt it just so everything fit properly again. It was so dumb. Anyway, I got everything replaced. Everything's fine now, but at the time it was a total pain in the ass. So I went and did the bedding procedure this morning because they're Brembo rotors. I didn't go for the Mercedes rotors because it was like another, I don't know, $1,500 more expensive just for the fronts versus Brembo replacements, which are OE. So, yeah, make that make sense. Mercedes upcharging because of the stupid badge that's on there. I got it all done, you know, got it all bedded in. It's working fine. There's no leaks or anything like that because, you know, I rebuild, you know, brakes on frickin' F-16s for a living. So this was not a very difficult thing for me to do. It just took me a minute to kind of wrap my head around it. So I did the bedding procedure on the brakes, got it all set up, got everything figured out. And then sure enough, the M2, her fun car, was throwing up a warning that it needed the brake fluid replaced. And I'm just thinking like, oh, well, that figures. You know, I already did it on the GLC. Why would it be any different that the M2 has to have it too? So that was fun. I mean, fortunately, the M2 only took me like about an hour. So yeah, anyway, point that I'm getting to is that the GLC and pretty much any Mercedes that's got this electronic parking brake feature bullshit, just don't even bother with it. It's so dumb. Like, have somebody do it themselves that knows what they're doing. Like, you know, a specialized mechanic or whatever. Because I saved a ton of money by doing it myself in the end, but the amount of frustration and just annoyance that I had with the whole thing was really not worth it. I'm trying to figure out if this bike that she's on is like a 250. This guy looks like he's on a 600 Honda. It's always crazy to me when you see the smaller liter or, you know, quarter liter bikes running around, or half liter, or whatever they are. You know, the little single and parallel twins. They have these tiny rear tires on them. It's just cuckoo. It's an Aprilia. Must be a 457. It's the only thing I can figure. It's a good starter bike, because I think the 660 has like a small wing on the front of it, if I remember correctly. That one definitely doesn't. So one of my buddies actually made the comment that I still had my MV mat in the garage that this thing was parked out over. Originally, I was just going to let it go, but it did start bugging me a little bit, so I just went ahead and got a new one. So that showed up today along with some RNG Racing sliders for the front and rear axles. Now that I have a bike that sits on spools and doesn't have to go through the stupid pin system or whatever because it's single-sided swing arm, I can actually run real crash protection, and it's not going to look like shit or be a total pain in the ass to keep taking on and off. Pretty happy about that. Nice little upgrade. Just little things here and there. Honestly, like, this bike really doesn't need much. I would eventually like to get rid of the indicators and do the tail tidy on this, but it's not a huge priority to me, honestly. I'm just going to slow roll the build on this thing. I feel like I kind of just built everything super quick on the MV, and apart from, like, doing a full exhaust and a race tune, there really wasn't much left for me to do on that thing other than maybe upgrade the suspension to like Öhlins or Öhlins. Somebody tell me in the comments, is it Öhlins or Öhlins? I think it's Öhlins because it's got that weird like double dot thing. That's one language I would really like to understand better, is German and the Germanic language, but I feel like I would prefer to learn Italian. That's just me. So by the way, we're going to Performance Cycle today just because I felt like stretching the bike's legs while we still have this nice weather. And then after that, I gotta go pick up some Treatos for the doggo. I don't know if I've ever mentioned it before, but I do have a German Shepherd. He is 5 going on 6, I think. Yeah, he's my little fuzzball. His name's Enzo. He's my buddy. I think I've had 4 Shepherds now. So there was Sheba, there was Phantom, there was Jaeger, and now there's Enzo. Yeah, so 4. Technically, Sheba was around more in my early years. So I kinda, like, I remember her, but I don't have a ton of memories with her. I mostly just remember that at one point or another, my parents told me that she had to go away and never came back. And at the time, I wasn't old enough to really understand it, but, you know, obviously within a couple of years, I figured it out, and when it finally hit me, I was a little broken up about it. But anyway, it was a couple years later that I finally got another one. He was originally promised to be a police dog, if you can believe it or not. Lo and behold, that ended up being a good thing that he didn't go to the police. And the reason being is because about, I don't know, halfway through his lifespan, maybe even before that, so, because he was around for a little over 12 years, I think around like age 4 or 5, he developed these really horrible allergies. And it was all, like, he was allergic to like every kind of mold you could think of, and like several different types of weeds. Like, it was bad. I mean, we made him as comfortable as we could, obviously, with, like, you know, vet visits and that sort of thing. But, you know, eventually it finally got to that point where, you know, the classic German Shepherd thing happened and his hips gave out and his body just started shutting down. And it's like, all right, well, this sucks, but we gotta say our goodbyes. Yeah, that was a bummer. You know, we had a good life with him and a good time. You know, it happens, especially the bigger dog breeds. They just get to that stage of life where they just can't do it anymore. Jaeger, I had the least amount of time. So we got him as a pup, you know, 8.5 weeks or whatever it was. But he had all kinds of health problems develop pretty quickly. Honestly, by the time he hit, I think it was like 6, his body was already shutting down. It was absolutely terrible. But there was nothing we could do about it. It's just one of those things where it was like, all right, well, like everything that we're trying with the vet is not working, and he's not coming out of this. The one constant through all of this, if I was to give anybody advice about German Shepherds, don't go purebred. Every single purebred, I don't know what it is, but the bloodlines are so diluted now that literally they cannot adapt to like their environment at all, and it's just like so muddled that they can't handle any kind of health things that come along. So do like what we did. Enzo is not a purebred. His mom was part husky, or is part husky. I don't know if she's still alive. That was kind of a short pit stop, honestly. I don't usually spend too awful much time in here unless I'm shopping for gear. They'll do tires and stuff here, but honestly, like Fay Myers, they get them at manufacturer pricing and just charge install. So, yeah. It's almost not even worth going through the hassle. Well, it isn't worth the hassle of, like, you know, pulling your shit off, taking it in. Honestly, just let the dealers do it. The dealers, unless you've got a shit dealer, it's just not worth it. I did something different with the microphone. So before, I was telling you guys in the past, I did this like little strip of not cellophane, it's like polystyrene. It's like the stuff that they use to wrap TVs under the dead cat over the mic itself to try and cut down on how peaky and distorted the mic was with wind. And that, mind you, is with the monitor volume or the pitch adjustment, whatever it is. I have that set to like -12. It's like on the lowest level it possibly can be. Even with all of that, it still comes in distorted from the wind noise. And there's no way around it, really, unfortunately. So what I did is I actually ran across a video from a dude on YouTube who's out in Britain. he found the same video that I did from the guy that did the polystyrene mod or whatever. What he did, instead of using the polystyrene because he couldn't find any, he ended up putting a piece of felt in the dead cat. And I'm like, felt? Shit, I have a ton of that. I put that in. Hopefully it's made a positive difference. If it hasn't, this video is probably not going to get posted. Or it might. I don't know. You guys will have to let me know if it sounds better. I didn't really test it before I did it. I just was like, well, that has to be better. It's a thicker material than that stupid foam garbage I was using. And we're in my favorite spot where I always seem to have people do dumb shit with me. Seriously, like without fail, in this area, I feel like it's just nonstop. Alright, now to go get dog treats. I swear, dude, this German Shepherd I have, he's a treat fiend. Dude goes through so much beef jerky and like, you know, just natural flavored stuff. He absolutely hates, and I mean hates, anything that's like processed. Like, he doesn't eat peanut butter. He doesn't eat any of like the milk bones. He doesn't eat any of that stuff. He's literally like, if it's not all natural food, he won't eat it. So yeah, we have to be like really picky about the kind of foods that we give him, because he's really picky. So I had a lot of comments about the last video on Instagram. Well, not a lot, but a couple. And I had a couple people reach out to me going like, hey, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. You know, just case of the Mondays with most of the people in the road. You know, they're just not paying attention. They're, you know, head is up their ass because they're coming off of a Sunday. It's just the way it is. You know, you get used to it after a while. Parents are freaking out going like, this is why we don't like you riding motorcycles. You're so dangerous. Yeah, I know. I get it. Heard this speech about 1 million times. I get it's dangerous. Okay? It's part of the reason why I don't ride at night for the most part. Unless I absolutely have to for some reason. Lessen the odds of shit happening to me. Anything that I can, like, put into my control in terms of being on a bike that prevents me from having problems of any kind, I do it. I don't fuck around when it comes to rider safety. I might ride a little aggressive, kinda. But when you compare it with most people that you see on like TikTok and all that shit nowadays, I'm very tame by comparison with a lot of them. And to a lot of people, that's probably boring as shit, because you guys like, you know, you look for these helmet vlogs and stuff where they're just getting it, they're going crazy, wah! That's not me. Sorry. If you guys are bored with that, you don't like that, too bad. I mean, we'll still have fun, but we're just not going to ride like a jackass. It's just not worth it. I got too many things going on in my life to take unnecessary risks. I already take enough risk as it is every day that I work, because I literally work on a fucking machine that can kill me with ease if I make one mistake. The same could be said for this motorcycle. If I make one mistake that's bad enough, it could kill me. So in that sense, I'm used to the amount of risk that I'm taking. That's why I don't stress about shit like this. I only stress about shitheads in their cars because I don't know what they're gonna do half the time. I'm always playing out in my head about like 30 seconds ahead of wherever I am currently, trying to play that moment in my head before I get to it, going like, okay, what's this person gonna do? Or what's gonna happen here? I'm always trying to be ahead of myself and the bike before I frickin' get into a situation that I can't recover from because I'm not prepared for it. And that's a good thing to do and a good skill to develop as a rider. You always want to be ahead of the bike. You never want to be behind it. Because if you're behind it, that's how bad things happen. It's funny. I just filled up this thing on Monday, and guess what? I'm already down to like half a tank. This thing is so thirsty. I'm not complaining. I love this thing, but I just think it's hilarious. All right. roll by the car wash real quick, just because I want to admire how many people are currently over here washing their car, knowing full well the storm system has basically been proven that it's going to be here tomorrow. Several times over. Silly. Very, very silly. I mean, mind you, 2 of those are probably going to get parked tomorrow. Can't remember if I turned my 3rd brake light on. Oops. Hopefully I did. Well, truly, this is going to be the last ride for at least a couple days. I still don't know exactly when this storm system's going to clear out or when the weather's actually going to turn better. We're literally living like almost day by day right now, just trying to enjoy what we get. Because the crazy part is Hawaii ended up getting snow before Denver did. I'm not talking mountain snow. The mountains are getting snow. That's not the problem. It's Denver as a city and the suburbs around Denver have not gotten snow at all, and somehow Hawaii ended up getting snow before us. How is that possible? And I know some people are going to be like, oh, climate change, global warming, ugh. Whatever, dude. Like, the planet is going to do planet things, okay? Have we made an impact as a society? Sure. But not to the stage where fucking Hawaii is getting snow before Denver. That's just fucking crazy. Oh, yep, we're on. Couldn't remember if I turned it on or not. Always got to be careful coming through here. All the soccer moms picking up their kids from school. They like to just whip across the street with like no regard to who's coming the opposite direction, because they themselves and their children matter more than any other human being in existence. Well, thanks again for hanging out with me. I know this is kind of a short video, but hey, you know, better than nothing. Definitely taking advantage of all the riding time that we get together. What are we at now? 121 miles. So we're racking it up pretty good. It's not going super fast, but hey, I mean, if we keep this pace up, we'll be hitting 300 before you know it. So, not bad. Not bad at all. I mean, since the fill-up, I've done 52 miles, basically. So that's pretty good. Anyway, that's it for this one. Hope you guys are staying warm wherever you are, and if it is warm wherever you are, I'm jealous. Very jealous. Okay, bye!